Realize you never did anything wrong and you can't do anything wrong ever again in the future. You can't fuck up. Like, that's freaking freedom.
What does that technical process of debugging look like? Because it's not like we could open up the memory tab in our ChatGPT, erase it. We can't open up a new prompt and start fresh, right? That's the luxury of the model.
And you wouldn't want to, right? Because the fun part is the debugging, the catching of it. Like, to me, this is the only thing that matters. This is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is not to amass fortunes or assets or houses or cars or whatever. Because as they say, like that, the funeral car doesn't have a luggage rack. Like, we don't get to take any of the stuff with us anyway, so who cares? The purpose is literally to clear those mind bugs. And it's the process, it's the journey of it, as with everything else. It's not the goal. So what does it look like to clear your mind bugs? It looks like seeing the lie clearly, right? You see the pattern super clearly. Oh, it's I did something wrong again. For me, it was like, once I started seeing it, it kind of, I got it, and then I kind of forgot again. And then like about a year later, it really started to hit home. One day I was on a trip with my wife and I woke up, and then I was like, oh, like I woke up before her, and then I went outside, and then our dog woke up and she wanted to come out, and then I was like, okay, let me take her out to pee and walk her. But then like I promised I'd take her for a walk, but now she pees and poops. And she wanted to go back inside. Should I force her to walk, or should I take her? Like this whole mind chatter of like, oh, I'm so scared of doing it wrong, because like then she's going to be upset that I woke her up, or she's going to be upset that I didn't, or like, well, like something, or like, or then like I would eat a protein bar and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Now I'm going to get fat. And like, oh, or I should have eaten that. Cause like, and I could just see how this was like 50 times in a day. This conversation was going about like, oh crap. I did it wrong, or I'm scared of doing it wrong.
Not even subconsciously.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so once you start to really spot it, you're going to start to see it over and over again. And like that is the process, is seeing it. And then in the moment, catching yourself and being like, oh, that's that lie again. Like, and just not even like going into affirmation of like, I did it right, or I never did anything. Like, you don't need that. You just need to see that it's a lie. And then like the brain takes care of the rest. Cause it's like you mentioned Joe Dispenza, right? Neurons that fire together, wire together. So this like, I did it wrong, or whatever your version is going to be a 10-lane highway that you've gone down a gazillion times. Now, as you start catching yourself from going down that path, eventually it's going to get overgrown. And instead of forcing it down one particular other path, what you do is you just open it up to all the pathways. And now you have possibility and freedom, right? So that's the game. The other piece that I find helpful is to go back and see, where did this get installed? Again, not to put blame, but to see the mechanism, the causality, because what happened is there was some experience that you gave it the meaning that, oh, I did something wrong. Maybe it was that time where one story for me was like when I was a kid, probably like 5, 6 years old, and I had a friend over, and we'd found my dad had this like tiny hammer that I loved. It was like this long, and it was like smaller than the other, and it was so cool, it was so cute. And so this friend of mine, it had like the square end, right, and then it had like the pointy end, and I found that we could hit on the railing on the staircase. We could hit with the sharp end, and we make these little marks in the wood, and we thought it was like super fun. Like, it was so cool, super fun. And then my dad comes home, and let's just say he wasn't loving it as much as we were. So he got real pissed, right? And so maybe that's the moment that I was like, oh, I did something wrong, right? Oh, I was just having fun. I was just being expressive, playful. And then boom, like, whoa, crap, I did something wrong. And so I made it about me. I did something wrong, and therefore my dad's bad, like angry at me, so I'm not going to be okay. Or like, it means I'm bad that I could do this without thinking that, of course, that was wrong, whatever that meaning was. And so it's helpful to see, oh, in that moment, this is what happened. And usually when I ask people, like, what's the earliest memory you have of feeling like you did something wrong, or that you're not enough, or whatever it is, some story comes up, and then we can look at it again, not as like, oh, inner child work and all that stuff, which is cool. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but more of just like seeing the mechanism. Oh, this happened. I was making these things, like these marks with the hammer. Dad comes home, he gets really angry, and I can totally see why that's annoying, right? That's frustrating. Because like, you basically can't repair that, right? Like this piece of wood, you can get a new piece of wood. It's a big, long piece of wood. and now it would be a different color and a different shade from the other pieces. It would just look weird. Like, there's basically no way to repair this. And so I actually went back to that childhood home a couple of years ago, and the marks are still there. So I totally get it from his perspective. And also maybe he was in a bad mood that day and he was just like annoyed and, you know, whatever. I remember when my son was with a friend one day and they had found this bag of like 6 rolls of toilet paper, and they'd taken them out and they've like unwound them all, and it was like with this one big pile on the bed. And like, I was not in a good place that day, and I was staying with my mom. It was like a complicated time in my life, and my mom got really, really scared and angry, and then I got angry at my son and like yelled at him. And looking back, it was just hilarious and fun. Like, it's freaking toilet paper, who cares, right? But like, maybe that becomes a moment where he gets like, oh shit, I did something wrong, like now I'm not gonna be in trouble. And again, that doesn't mean I did something wrong. I served my purpose to install that mind bug in him so he can realize, I happen to know that, so he can realize that that's a mind bug and it's a lie, and he can find the freedom on the other side of that.
So maybe it's a good thing that AI doesn't have emotions, because we would be screwed with some traumatic AI.
Yeah, right. No, for sure. Like, it's complicated, right? It's complicated. Like, this is what it means to be human, is to have this stuff going on. It's not a flaw. It's not a bug. It's a feature. It's what makes us interesting as humans, right? It's what makes us adorable. Nobody loves a perfect hero in a movie, right? Nobody likes a person for whom everything just goes right and he has like a correct answer. Like, it's not emotionally interesting to us. I think it's great. So yeah.